everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and cover my top Christmas fragrance suggestion list. Some people have asked me about fragrances that they can pick up for relatives and give as Christmas presents. Now, I'm generally one who kind of opposes giving fragrances as a gift, just because of the fact that fragrance is really a personal suggestion. It's something that differs person to person. One man's fragrance that's gold could be another man's trash, and vice versa. Another man's trash is another man's gold. So it's generally a little tough to give fragrances, and in these cases I usually suggest giving gift certificates or something of the sort to the person in question so that they can go ahead, find a fragrance that they like and pick it out for themselves. But, gun to my head, this is where this list comes in. If you can't do that and you really would rather give an actual fragrance itself, these 5 fragrances I feel are very solid fragrances that you could give as gifts, right? So they're selling all around for one reason or another. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and get right into the list. It's going to be a quick list, 5 fragrances. Now, keep in mind, this is one thing of note, these 5 fragrances are in not any particular order. So they're just 5 fragrances that I'm listing off of. The second thing is, don't have the bottles just because I packed away most of my fragrances. So what you're going to see on screen is basically a flash of what the fragrance is, and also where you can get it and how much it actually costs. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. First fragrance is actually a new release from this year, and it's from the house of Dior. The fragrance we're talking about is called Sauvage. Now Sauvage, again, a recent release. It's really a spicy, ambery, very clean scent that evokes, a bunch of opinions from people all around. There are some people who don't like it. Most of the people who don't like it think that it's too generic or that it smells like something that they already own. But what I've actually experienced from this fragrance is that it's a very heavy compliment getter. It's a new fragrance and women seem to absolutely love it. So if you're looking for a fragrance for a guy who either may not be into fragrances, which is actually a perfect example of who this will work for, or somebody who may have a small fragrance collection, then this would actually be the perfect fragrance for them, for you to go ahead and pick up for them. If they're looking for a scent that's kind of universal and all around, this will also be another scent that works well for them. Now this generally is going to run you, for a 2 ounce, it's going to run you $72, and for a 3.4 it's going to run you $89. Now I haven't really seen it for discount, just because of the fact, again, it's new this year and it is a very popular fragrance. Go to any department store that you can possibly think of and you'll be able to pick it up. Macy's, Nordstrom, they pretty much all have it, or anywhere that sells the Dior line will almost certainly have this fragrance for sale. Alright, so for the second fragrance, it's from the house of Chanel. The fragrance we're talking about is called Bleu de Chanel. Now Bleu de Chanel, it comes in 2 concentrations. It comes with an eau de parfum, and it also comes in a eau de toilette, so EDT or EDP. Now I'm actually referring to the EDT version. However, some people have gotten a little bit more success with the EDP. The EDP is going to run you slightly a little bit more expensive than the EDT, and I kind of think that the EDT is a little bit more universally appealing than the EDP version is. Now, it's going to run you about $70 for the 1.7, and it's going to run you for the 3.4, I forgot what the actual prices are. I think it's around $90 or something like that for 3.4. Distribution is a little bit more concentrated on this, so you can get it from the Chanel site. You can also get it from Macy's, so do some searching around. Be careful with this one because this one has been out for a little bit at this point, and you can find fakes of this one all around. So just be careful that you're not actually buying a fake fragrance for it, alright? Perfect. The sirens are in there for the sound of a fake fragrance. But either way, this one is a woody aromatic scent. It's got citrusy accords. This is something that'll work perfect for the guy who doesn't really have any scents, but on top of that needs a scent for almost any occasion that you can think of. So this is a highly versatile scent that can double as your signature scent. So look for this one if you're looking for that type of a fragrance. Now the next fragrance, coming in at number 3, comes from a house that is quite popular. It's called Terry Mugler, and they're known for fragrances that kind of jump out at people. Fragrances that are a little bit different, but at the same time, pretty appealing to a wide swath of people. And the fragrance that we're talking about is called Pure Malt. Now, Pure Malt, again, has been around for a long time, and people that collect fragrances who are into fragrances generally know about this fragrance. Now, this one is a scent that combines patchouli, it combines woods with malt with chocolate and whiskey. So apparently it's aged in whiskey barrels and taken from there and, you know, distributed out. And it has a very, I guess you could say, a scent that works really well as a night out scent. It works really well as a date scent. It's more dark. It's darker than the other two fragrances that I've mentioned before, and it works really well in those situations. Now, you can only really get it in one size, and that's a 3.4. The distribution on this is also controlled a bit, so you'll have to go to the Terry Mugler site. I believe you can also get this from Nordstrom and a couple other places, but outside of those, I would be very wary of buying the scent just because it may very well be a fake if you're not getting it from those things, just because the distribution is a little bit more controlled with this one. So yes, so Terry Mugler's Pure Malt. They've got a bunch of other flankers to it. Ultra Shot. They've got the original Angelman Pure Leather. There's so many variations, and you might want to do some sniffing around to see if the person that you're buying this fragrance for might enjoy those other ones a little bit more from this one. But I generally tend to think that Pure Malt kind of sits a little bit better and is a little bit more universally appealing than the rest of the other fragrances. Now, coming in at number 4, we've got a scent that is more on the cheaper realm. So for those of you who can't spend as much money and still want to get a fragrance for as a gift for that other person, we've got this fragrance. And it's from the house of Perry Ellis. We're talking about Perry Ellis 360 Red. Now, Perry Ellis 360 Red is a fragrance that I reviewed quite a long time ago, but it still has remained and retained its power. This fragrance is very similar to another fragrance, for those of you who don't know. It's called Acqua di Gio. It's a fragrance from the house of Giorgio Armani that's a little bit more expensive, but this one, I actually think, for a clone of Acqua di Gio, it's actually better than the original, just because it has a little bit more of a spicy tinge, and it retains all of the qualities with it, and it's a little bit less harsh on the opening. Now, what you're going to get with this scent is a citrus, spicy, at the same time aromatic, a little bit of a sea salty type of a vibe to it. That's a very nice, fresh fragrance that comes off. And this one is going to run you, for the 3.4, you can probably get it for around 20 bucks if you do some searching around. Now, again, as always, be aware for the fakes, but if you purchase it from one of those gray market sites like Fragrance Net, or Beauty Counter, or I think there were a couple other sites. I don't want to mention one specifically just because people are going to run off and go buy it and then complain to me if they get a fake. So just use your discretion when buying it and, you know, be careful with it. But that would be an excellent, and is an excellent cheap scent that you can go ahead and give to people. Now, for the final scent, it's going in the opposite direction. For those of you who have a little bit more money to spend and you want to buy your significant other or person a very expensive fragrance that is good and a little bit harder to find, I would say look no further than this fragrance. We're talking about Creed's Aventus. Now, Creed's Aventus is one of the more popular fragrances amongst people who collect fragrances, and for good reason. This is a scent that lasts a long time. It combines your apple with your woods, and it comes off as a very, I guess you could say, inviting scent. It's a very, it's almost like catnip to guys. It's a scent that almost every single guy that I know enjoys in some way or another. It's very rare to find a guy who doesn't like this actual scent, which makes it almost a safe buy for any guy that you find. Now, the tough part with this thing, and this, again, it's for people who want to spend a little bit more money, is the cost. It comes in 3 main sizes. It comes in a 1 ounce, which is going to run you $190. Ooh. A 2 ounce, which is going to run you $315. And finally, the 4.0 ounce is going to run you a cool $380. All of that is non-discounted. It is available on some discount sites. However, I generally tend to discourage people from going that, because once you're spending that kind of money, to me, it's like you want to make sure that you have the real thing. So I honestly advise you going to Creed or to an authorized Creed retailer in order to purchase this. So I wouldn't, roll the ball or roll the dice and take a chance on buying a fake version. That's just me personally. feel free to do whatever the heck you want. All right? So those are the 5 fragrances that I'm recommending for this Christmas 2015 for people to go ahead and purchase, for their guys. All right? So let me know what you think. Let me know what your suggestions are, and I highly encourage people as they're seeing this video, if you're not going to, use this as some type of tool, comment down below, help others out, give people some suggestions for fragrances that would make great holiday gifts. There are so many fragrances out there, and I had a tough time narrowing it down to 5 that I think are good suggestions that kind of run the gamut. But feel free, there are a lot of people out there with a lot of good advice, so take heed, all right? So thank you guys, take care of yourselves, and everyone, you guys have a great day, and Merry Christmas.